Good evening. Tonight we're working with a little chocolate ice cream cone here. There's a large group of people that are, so we're, we can't be really heard that well, so we're speaking with a microphone. Tonight is August 16th, 2012. We just came back from our favorite venue, the Freeholder meeting. It was a good one tonight. There was a couple of issues. I guess I'll start off because one of my issues was, and I brought this up in the near the end with the public speaking on any subject, and it was that there's a new fellow that was sworn in the prosecutor's office. His name is I forgot his first name, but he's a Deputy McCabe. His name is McCabe, and I kept saying to the camera at the Freeholders meeting, I hope he's watching this because I wanted to speak about what his responsibilities are. Somewhere in one of the newspapers, they mentioned that he has been given the authority to examine every aspect of the prosecutor's office and report back with ways the Union County Prosecutor's Office can be more efficient and continue to work in the best interests of the public. Now, this is good because I'll tell you, the Freeholders have yet to actually work in the best interest of the public, but it looks like a page is turned, and maybe they are. So I mentioned hopefully Deputy McCabe listens to my next couple of minutes, which actually turned out to be yelling back and forth with Sullivan, but I said, if he cleans up the prosecutor's office, it'd be great because the rot starts at the top. Romankow is complicit in all sorts of political shenanigans. He only has selective prosecution. One of his problems was that he was complicit in this Music Fest investigation where tens and thousands of dollars disappeared. And yes, he tracked some down, like $15,000 was found in a vault. But he didn't follow through as to who deposited there and why it was sitting there. Another that actually was never addressed was the beverage cost, because we found out what the cost of the raw beverage was to the vendors, but we never heard of how much money was actually generated by selling the beverages, such as beer and soda, to the public. So that money, I mean, there were some estimates from anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. I'd say $50,000, I guess, to be conservative. That money was never reported and never discovered, never investigated. My guess, and this is only my opinion, of course, that kind of raised their eyebrows, but I said it just could have been hush money given to Romankow to make this report go away, and suddenly Devaney retired at the same time. So, I mean, that was one thing. Then I started talking about the number 2 guy, Al Cernadas Jr., which that's when Sullivan started yelling because I mentioned about the Waterfront Commission on Corruption, and that Al Cernadas Jr., who's the number 2 guy in the prosecutor's office, not senior, was doing something wrong. And Sullivan jumped in, and that's when he started yelling, "You're libeling the wrong guy. You're libeling." And I said, no. I said, who's Al Cernadas Sr.? And he kind of stopped, and I caught him on that one. But he went back to yelling, wasted my time, so I didn't really have to speak. So I didn't have time to speak further on it. I had to slip Al by, and I worked on Romankow again, and I worked on Mirabella's brother, who was a police officer in Garwood, 2 criminal offenses, and the prosecutor's office investigated and dismissed it. And yet when you Oprah the county for this paperwork, they said none existed, but Tina and the Watchdogs actually found out from Garwood Oprah that, yes, indeed, it did exist. So, I mean, we got all sorts of subterfuge, misrepresentation, lying, possible corruption, pocketing of money possibly. I hope McCabe's got a big job ahead of him, and he's got to work at the top, because the bottom, maybe they are hard workers, but the top management is the problem. You want to say something?
Well, yeah. And now, for those of you who don't think that Bruce really said this stuff and this really went on, here's the video of it.
And I have a major issue I want to talk about, but just to continue on. I mean, this budget cycle was a disaster. You know it. And yet, we're still going full speed ahead, just spending money. You claim, oh, we are now fiscally responsible, moving forward. Well, how about waiting to find out if that's true? Because so far, I've never seen any fiscally responsible actions. I just see spending. So, I mean, you stop, you wait, you want to see if it's in place and properly working, then maybe you start spending money. But here you just go willy-nilly, just keep spending, spending, spending. Wrong, you shouldn't do it. But, I mean, coming from this board, it's, what can I say? The issue. I appreciate recently in July,
It looks like there's a Deputy McCabe that was sworn into the prosecutor's office. I welcome him aboard, and reading one of his responsibilities, he has been, and this is a quote in the paper, he has been given the authority to examine every aspect of the prosecutor's office and report back with ways the Union County Prosecutor's Office can be more efficient and continue to work in the best interest of the residents. Now, this is good. This is best interest of the residents. Finally, we're looking at this. And I don't know if he's here, but hopefully he's going to watch this and listen to the vote, because we've been talking about the prosecutor's office. When I say we, I say myself and then Tina Renna and the watchdog. The prosecutor's office, in our opinion at this point, after watching how they work, is unethical. There's possible criminality involved. The rot starts at the top. I think McCabe should start looking at the first top two people. Romankow, he was complicit in this Music Fest investigation, and yet tens of thousands of dollars were proven to disappear where he talked about nothing. I'm talking about the beverage monies, to the point where I'm starting to wonder if that was maybe some hush money to him, so he could just shut up and not prosecute anybody. It sure is, and this is where McCabe comes in, to find out what the heck's going on here.
I suggest you direct us to the prosecutor.
Good one, isn't that?
Talk with him.
Is that, you know, maybe the Lesniak, since he controls everything anyway. But let me just talk about, that's number one. Number one guy, I mean, we got major problems. The guy to us is unethical. He's selective in his prosecution. It seems to be all political based, and that's pretty sad. I hope McCabe straightens that out, gets rid of the first guy. He's probably going to retire anyway soon anyway, so he's going to make his $100,000 a year and disappear and whatever, laugh about things, I guess. The number two guy. The number two guy. This came out, but nobody said anything. The Waterfront Commission, plagued by abuse and corruption. The Office of the New York State Inspector General did a study, a heavy investigation, found out that the number two guy, Al Cervantes Jr., was heavily involved in abuse of power. I just want to read this. This is what McCabe should be paying attention. I hope McCabe's going to watch this.
Mr. Chairman, I got to, you know.
What? I'm going to read. I'm just going to read parts of the report. No.
You're talking. You just accused the man of something.
I'm accusing Junior, Mr.
And the
Sullivan.
father. What I'm saying, that's the father.
Junior's the father?
Yes.
Well, who's senior then?
I don't know.
Yeah, how about that? How about that? We got problems. We got problems.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but you are denigrating and calling out a man who is not involved in that at all. Who's the first assistant? Excuse me, who's the first assistant?
Junior.
Listen to me.
Go ahead. I'm first assistant. I don't know. I don't believe anything you say anyway, but go ahead.
The first assistant prosecutor has nothing to do with what his father did. And you're
say what? I'll give you the latitude to that. Let's start with the number one guy. McCabe should be looking at the number one guy because he got problems.
Hold on.
Tell you what.
Hold on.
What?
Finish your comments.
Okay.
You can direct them to the prosecutor. That's fine. I suggest you get your facts straight before you make some public comments like this.
Okay, I have one more fact. I don't want you to start yelling at me. He's already yelling at me.
Well, you never know.
The third issue with the prosecutor's office. There was an investigation done. The watchdogs asked for paperwork from the prosecutor's office for an investigation done on a police officer in Garwood. His name was Mirabella. He had done two criminal actions, and the county prosecutors investigated. Now the county watch, this is unknown to the public at that point.
Mr. Patterson,
the county watchdog, no. See, this is what I'm saying. See, the county watchdog asked for paperwork from the prosecutor's office. They said none existed. You know what they did? They went to Garwood, asked for paperwork. They found out there was an investigation done by the county prosecutor. We're talking about subterfuge, lying, possible theft. McCabe better, I'll tell you, I just hope he has integrity, you know, and he's selected for that.
Let's finish up and sit down. Go ahead. Done. Thank you for your comments. I suggest you call the prosecutor and challenge him about it.
Well, we can't even get anywhere. The prosecutor is owned by you guys.
It's enough.
I hope McCabe comes in. I hope he cleans out the top level. Because we got major problems. We've been telling you this, and you guys are just blind to this. You're blind to this. You know, the problem is everybody who's connected can skate.
Your outrage is very interesting. Please sit down.
Oh, you've been hearing it for a couple of years, but you just look the other way.
Please sit
You
down.
just look the other way.
Bye. All righty. Mr. Mr. Byrd, you want another bite at the apple? Anybody else wishing to speak?
Now, the only thing I would add is I went to a Springfield meeting, council meeting, and they seem to be not in control of their police department, and they seem kind of bitter about it. Like, these guys can do whatever they want because, we don't have control because otherwise there are these anti-corruption things, whatever. And I think the freeholders might not be in control of the prosecutor's office on paper. I mean, from a real, see these guys in a hole and don't prosecute that. But I think officially, I think there's supposed to be some
oversight.
Well,
it's appointed by the state.
Right. So I don't think they control them or they can tell them what to do officially, whether they do or not, because Mirabella seemed to take this in a jovial manner. And he did speak to Bruce afterwards. There was another.
Mentioned his brother.
Yeah. What did Mirabella say to you after?
Oh, at the end, he didn't really say much. I just said that you're pretty clueless about what's going on in the county. He kind of walked away at that point. He didn't really say much.
All right. So nothing to see here. That was it. That's end of part 1. See you next on golf.